Boxing King Media in association with Boxro. Stefy Bull, thank you for welcoming me to your gym once again. We'll get straight into it, Stefy. I would love to take the piss out of the fact that you're wearing leggings, but I'm going to let you off.
Yes, I've been for a little run this morning before I started with Terry and the rest of the crew. So yeah, I'm in my little leggings, looking all slim and skinny, and then you go up to my belly hanging out and you see I'm a fatty, really.
Definitely, I'll let you say that. First thing I want to bring up is Conor Kelsall. I've just spoken to one of your flyweight prospects.
Yeah.
He's got an English title fight coming up on the 11th of December. And obviously speaking to Conor, he's been with you from day one. Just wanted to give you a bit of credit for the fact that you've got him to 6-0 and fight for an English title in his 7th fight. A lot of people kind of discredit small old boxing, and people like yourself will put shows on, but it shows if you have a bit of loyalty and what you can get him.
Yeah. Well, we have a soft spot for Conor. He's from Denby, Maine, where I'm born and bred. I know his dad from obviously living in a village. We went to school together, and his dad was his amateur coach. They've done fantastic. They've had a great journey together in the amateurs. Conor winning multiple national titles, boxing for England. He's actually fighting Ben Norman, and they've had 2 or 3 fights themselves in the amateurs. So you get a little soft spot when you're from the same village, and I've watched him develop and grow before he moved into the pros, and he's an absolute pleasure. He's a little bit of a throwback. He's in the gym consistently, never out the gym, even through the pandemic, always in the gym. Him and Ray are always working hard, and he's really developing and improving at a really good rate. But he's probably the first fighter that's come over that's had, when you've got a national champion and things, the reason why he turned pro was the GB pulled away the light, because he's actually a light flyweight. They pulled away that division for having prospects of going to Olympics and things. But yeah, he's developing great, and it's one of them with the flyweight division. It's like you either go or you don't. And obviously, he's more than ready for this fight. Ben's the Midlands area champion. It's a cracking 50-50 fight. Ben's done good as a pro. So it's a great fight, and it's one of them. Whether you win, lose or draw, you can always, as long as you're improving, then you'll always get somewhere, and he's definitely improving. And I'm looking forward to the fight. It's main event, Sunday afternoon, Rotherham Magnus Centre. It's selling well, got a good undercard. Anthony Tomlinson's on that, just on a tick over, waiting for his championship fight. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a good fight, and he's got a great opportunity to make his mark on the flyweight division.
Definitely, and like I said, it shows if you're consistent, you keep rocking up at the gym, and it's a two-way relationship, isn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously you've delivered for him, so credit to you there. And then I just want to talk about Terri. Obviously we've not spoken since the fight. One of the things I picked up, I want to speak to you about is the weight. What was it the right weight now that she's had a fight? 10 rounds. Are you happy with the stamina? Were you happy with how she took the shots? And you happy that she's going to stay at the weight?
Well, it's one of them with women's boxing. There's no. It's quite different to the men's. The depth ain't there, so women are going up and down the weights. But Terry's got the physicality to be going up and down weights probably throughout her career. She's very dedicated and meticulous when it comes to her diet and things. So she can go up and down the weights, but she has got the frame to be going up to this weight and doing well at it. So when the opportunity came with Anna, we kind of jumped at it, because I think, to be totally honest, and it's not discrediting Hannah, I think she was a perfect opponent for Terry to go and test the waters at higher weights. So that's what it was, and she passed with flying colours. The stamina were there, the movement were there, the speed was still there, which made it quite easy, and she can definitely grow into the 154, although she's not a natural 154, but she can certainly grow into that division. But yeah, the beauty, she can go up and down the weight. But I was more than happy with the performance and how the old training camp went with the sparring with bigger girls, etc. But Terry, I've always said, I mean, you have the banter when I go on with her age, and Terry can win world titles in multiple weights. She's got years in this game, so yeah, I'm more than happy with how it all went at 154, definitely.
One of the criticisms that I've picked up what people on Twitter have been pointing at is, obviously they draw this comparison with Tasha and Terri, the fact that they're saying, both of them have gone up in weight because the fights are easier because the depth in the super welterweight division. What's your response to that?
It's not to do with the fights are easier because you're out here looking for the best fights. So what were happening is the all weight categories were all tied up. You got Chantel, who were on verging the 140 tournament. You got McCaskill that were in with who she just fought. One before that when she Brackhouse, she had that rematch with Brackhouse, and it's like there were an opportunity at 154 to be a world champion. You'd be crazy not to go and jump up it. But listen, social media, Twitter, it's like it's an app on its own. Everybody's in, 90% have got a fake account, so it gives them an opinion or a voice, and that's great. But when it comes down to it, it's like we all know the depth ain't there in women's boxing. So like the elite are searching and fishing around and finding the best fights, which brings in the best pay package, which brings in the views. So this is just how it is at minute. In years to come, I think it'll all change, and there'll be solid fights and opponents and depth in all categories and weights. But at the minute, you're just fishing around for the best fights and the best financial packages.
That's a fair response. And then talking about Tasha Jonas, first of all, before we talk about her fight with Terri, etc., what do you think of how Tasha's obviously done in this year, especially in winning world titles back to back, and the performances, and how she's obviously, I don't want to use the word coming of age, but I think she's 37 if I've got that right, and how well she's performing at 37.
She's done fantastic. She's on a great run of form. You could argue that there's probably not anybody else that's done this over the last couple of years. Like Maxie Hughes has had that great one of form who I look after, but Tasha's done fantastic, phenomenal run, three world titles in a 12-month period. So you'd have to be an idiot to discredit that. She's done fantastic. Joe's very meticulous with what he does. He knows what he's on with, and I think she deserves a bit more credit. I mean, the first fight for the WBO, I mean, she just came in at short notice, and that is what it is. That's not down to Natasha. But the other two girls she's beat are genuine world-class fighters. They were both world champions, so you can't take it away from her. She's done fantastic, and I went on Saturday and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the performance, and she seems to be like your Benjamin Button. She's not showing any decline, so you can only pat that on back.
One of and obviously Joe's said this in numerous interviews, that they felt that they needed somebody to back them, and they felt that they never got the backing from Eddie Hearn because Eddie was more invested in Terri and other fighters, and obviously he feels Ben's obviously backed them, put money into them, and they've obviously reaped the rewards from it. Your opinion on that, and obviously Joe's opinion, the fact that they needed somebody to back them basically?
Well, I think Sky, when Eddie and Matt Shum have departed from Sky, then they'd not got the depth. They've signed some of these young girls, but it'd be very interesting if some of these young girls will be signed again. And Natasha had come in, and they've done a fantastic job. They've done more than a good job. They've worked wonders and worked miracles. Hopefully she's getting the financial rewards too, because she could be set for life on this great run. And they've done great things because, same again, they've not got the other girls at Sky to be juggling around or for anybody else. So they've all done a great job with what they've got. Fantastic. So you can't, everyone at Sky, I've had many years working with Sky, and obviously I'm back working with Matchroom with Sky and Terri. They've always been very good. So I can't comment on how things and Natasha's side were with Matchroom and Eddie. I'm not invested in any of that, and I don't know anything on that. But you can't deny that Sky have done great things for Natasha and probably changed her life, which is only positive.
As an outsider looking in, would you? What's your opinions on the fact that that statement that Eddie was backing Terri more than Tasha?
What do you mean? I can't.
Do you think that was the case, as obviously looking outside?
I don't know. Terri was the world champion. Terri had come in and just had this whirlwind run. So obviously they've got to... Listen, they've got to keep broadcasters happy. You can't blame Eddie for that. Sky will have been pushing as much as anything. So Terri had come in unexpectedly and on this glory run... the next Katie Taylor and all that kind of stuff. There were a lot of pressure on a young girl, and they were selling the fact that Terri's fresh from this council village and, you know, working in a chip shop. Everybody were running away with story. So she were doing numbers. We sold over 1,000 tickets personally herself when she fought Eva Wallström. You were there, you seen the atmosphere. So it was a fantastic, you know, they just backed what they were. So you can't comment on did she get pushed more or the, you know, I'd never looked at it as like a competition and stuff. If Natasha and their team felt that they weren't getting what they needed, then they've done the right thing by moving on. So, yeah, it's one of them, innit? It's just one of them.
Thank you. And then spoke to Joe Gallagher after the fight, and obviously I put the question to him at the press conference, basically saying if he had the option of Claressa, Terri Harper, or Katie Taylor, and he immediately dismissed the Terri Harper option. And obviously I spoke to Joe, and I think they feel that, well, the belief is that Tasha was promised a rematch with Terri when everyone was under the same promotional banner, but the fight never materialised, and they feel that they shouldn't have to give you the opportunity. Your response to that?
Well, that's if that's how they feel. I can't suggest anything that how they feel or how they don't feel. So I can't comment on why the fight didn't happen from their side, or like off camera I've shown you a 5-fight contract that we've agreed to and signed to, and wasn't Tasha Jonas in that contract?
Yes, she was, but like I told you off camera, contracts obviously they can change and things can change, can't they, down the line?
But what I'm stating is we signed for a rematch to happen, so that's all I'm stating. I wanted to show you that we did sign and agree a contract. Terri had to fight a mandatory Katarina Thanders at the time, and the second fight in was the Jonas rematch, which we were more than happy with. I believe that they weren't happy with the financial package that they were getting offered. Same again, I can't comment on any of that. And listen, it is what it is. Bygones. It's a couple of years ago. Everybody's moved on. Natasha's on this great run of form, and Terri's got the WBA world title at 154. If they want to be undisputed, then there's a fight there to be made. But you know, like Terri wanted that fight from day dot. Just because she's not been on social media, she got so much negative energy off Twitter on back of that fight, and it's got all the ingredients to be something very big. You probably can't name another now. Other fights have just happened. You probably can't name a bigger fight, a female fight certainly in the UK than Terri and Natasha. It's undisputed. If the fight was to happen, would it'd sell out Doncaster Rovers Stadium? It would sell out Sheffield Arena. It probably would sell in Liverpool Arena. Would we go over to Sky?
I like how you said probably would sell Liverpool, but it would sell out in this part of the world.
Well, I don't know what kind of numbers that Natasha's doing. I mean, I went to Manchester the other day for a big fight, and it was, what would you say, quarter set up. I know that Natasha and Terri would sell Sheffield Arena. Would you think it would sell Sheffield Arena?
I think if promoted right, I think it'd sell out anyway because it's a big fight. Yeah. The first fight was a great fight, but obviously looking at the fact that Tasha's got 3 of the belts, I'm assuming she'd more than likely want home advantage.
Well, if that's what she wanted, and understandably she has got 3 of the belts, but when it comes down to it, whoever was to promote the contest, they'd want to do it where the numbers would fill. At the same time, boxing is a business, and I know and I'm confident that it would sell out a stadium at Doncaster Rovers, and it'd sell out Sheffield Arena. I can't comment on the Liverpool because I don't know if thousands would travel all the way over to Liverpool, but it's only a couple of hours drive. Nonetheless, we're happy for the fight to happen. Terri wants the fight to happen. We'd be happy to. We've expressed to Eddie that if the financial package is bigger on Sky, we'd happily go to Sky. It's not like, you know, we'd do anything we can for the best package and the fight to happen. But Terri's 26. We're not going to scream and shout. And I'd understand if Jonas and team felt that they didn't want to go down that road, then that's fine. We're not going to, you know, it's not going to be begging and screaming for an opportunity that ain't going to happen. We've got some brilliant potential packages on the table for Terri. She can still do 135 with notice. So you still got world titles at 135. She can go. She's 154 champion. You see Claressa calling out Terri politely, which is fantastic for somebody as brilliant as Claressa, and arguably a modern day great. And she's so young. Her and Terri would be a massive fight. There's lots of massive fights. McCaskill at 147 during fight week were calling out Terri, which same again were brilliant. Terry's got loads on the table. It's just the fact that it's not like Terri wanting the fight or even Team Jonas. It seems the fans deserve that rematch. The fans want it. Social media seem to be interested on it, and I personally don't think financially, I don't think Jonas would earn what she would get from a Terri rematch from any other fight. Obviously, Katie brings in the big numbers, and if that was a fight to happen, it would have to be certainly on DAZN, because I don't think she'll be going anywhere else because she's that big of a player. But I can say, as Terry's manager, we'd happily go over to Sky for that fight to happen, and I think it's that big of a fight that it should happen. But if not, we're not. It is what it is, isn't it? It's not. You're.
Just on the Claressa you mentioned there, obviously there is clearly a huge size difference from Claressa to Tasha and Terri. Would you chuck Terri in with Claressa?
I won't chuck Terri in with nobody. But what I mean is there is a big size difference, but we're way ahead. We're negotiating weights and everything else. It's not a fight that I'm looking for Terri. Is it the best fight for Terri? No, I don't think it is. But what I'm stating is, we're talking options, we're talking fights and big fights, financial packages that probably one fight alone could change Terry's life for the rest of her career. This is how big some of these, because of the depth. I mean, people moan about pay and things like that. You get the right fight, them female fighters are getting paid correct, and Terry's a name in the UK big enough to demand a life-changing kind of fight. I'd like. Jonas and Terry's massive. Come on, it is massive. I'll stand by it. I think it could probably. It was the first female world title fight. It happened in a pandemic. It was first fight that made front pages at Boxing News. It set up the path for these great fights. It was the original first female. It was a fantastic fight. Round 1 to round 10, bang at it. And I think that's how they'd always fight. We could have another 2 fights. Let's do a 2-fight deal. Let's do one on Sky and one on DAZN. There's nothing that we want to do to stop the fight happening. But at the same time, Terry can, because of Terry's physicality, which I keep repeating, she can go up and down the weight. So she's got plenty of years in this. It's just, if this fight won't to happen in the next 6 to 12 months, they're going to miss the boats. Because, like you said, Natasha's like 38 years old. She don't want to be doing.
She's getting better though. She seems to be
getting
getting
better.
Yeah.
But does she want to keep? Does she want to keep putting herself through training camps and things? She's done fantastic. But what I mean is, she's not going to want. She's going to want to get the biggest financial package as she can. And I personally think her and Terry is financially, I don't think there could be one bigger. I don't think she'd get paid as much for the Shields fight, possibly could, than she would for Terry. I think it is a really big fight. Financially, numbers-wise, it delivers everything. It's got controversially, it's got me and Joe having the banter. It's got everything, all the ingredients. And when it comes down to it, broadcasters will want it. Joe can say what he wants, I can say what he wants, but Sky will want that fight. I know all Sky. They will want that fight.
As a fan, like I said, I love the fight, and like you said, touched on there, you and Joe in the press conference, and Terry and Tasha, I think it does make for great viewing, and the 2-fight deal seems like an interesting option. Just want to wrap up, because we're flying through nearly 20 minutes here, Stefy. Just want to quickly, is there anything else you want to tell me about your stable or anything else?
We're all good at the minute. It's coming up to Christmas. Everybody's going to be recharging now and ready for a big 2023. So Max is looking forward to a big 2023. Jason's going to be back. He's having one more last roll at dice. There's big fights out there for him domestically. Davis fighting for the European title. So it's exciting times. I'm looking forward to 2023.
Last question, did you watch John Fury last night in ripping his t-shirt off? What would you make of that?
If that were me, I'd have ran off. He looked great, didn't he? Listen, it is what it is. This is where it's coming to that side. But the problem is, it's going to get to a point people are going to stop taking it all serious. And listen, it's great for social media. You guys love this kind of stuff, don't you?
I do, mate. I do love John Fury, mate. Real character. Stefy, I appreciate your time as always, and we'll catch you soon.